Here with more. He's with the House Oversight Committee. James Comer is with us. House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Jason Smith and House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan. Congressman Comer, I start with you tonight, your reaction to today's events, and, of course, your statement that went out earlier today with Jim Jordan that Hunter has defied a lawful subpoena, and you will now initiate contempt of Congress proceedings, and that Hunter will not be provided special treatment because his last name is Biden.
Well, I've never seen such a display of arrogance and entitlement as I saw today when you had over a dozen members of Congress in a committee room waiting for Hunter Biden to appear because he was lawfully subpoenaed, while we were there with staff who had spent countless hours preparing questions, substantive questions. At the same time, Hunter Biden goes out and has a press conference and plays the victim card, defies a congressional subpoena, says he wants to tell his story, and then gets in a car and drives off. I think the American people saw that was a publicity stunt that went bust. We have had a credible investigation that the American people expect. They want to know what the Bidens did to receive the tens of millions of dollars from our enemies around the world, and we're going to continue to pursue the truth, and we're doing it lawfully and by the Constitution. And today, Hunter Biden got into more trouble, if that's even possible, by defying our lawful subpoena.
And let's get your take, Jim Jordan, because you, along with Congressman Comer, put out the statement about Hunter failing to appear for the deposition and are now initiating contempt of Congress proceedings. Tell us what's going to happen next.
Well, we'll do a report, and then we'll mark it up, pass it through the committee, and then it'll go to the full House. And I think, though, Sean, the big takeaways today were, number one, every single Republican voted to move forward with an impeachment inquiry and continue our oversight responsibility. Every single one. The conventional wisdom, we can't get all Republicans. But a majority of the House is now on record in support of the investigation that we've been doing. Second is what you said in your opening line. Joe Biden went from no involvement to, he participated in dinners and meetings and phone calls, but they were just talking about the weather, to today Hunter Biden saying my father had no financial involvement. That qualifier is huge. No financial involvement in the business. What a change. We would have loved to have had Hunter Biden under oath in a deposition the way these investigations are supposed to work. And the first question we would ask him is, who's the big guy? Who's the big guy, Mr. Biden? The confidential human source said it's Joe Biden in the 1023 form. Your partner said it's Joe Biden. Who's the big guy? And then what was on that call that you made from Dubai at the request of Burisma to get help from D.C. when you called your father? What did you ask him to do? Because we know what he went and did. What did you ask him to do on that phone call? Those are two important questions that I think the American people deserve to know about and the facts about. That's what we would ask him if we had a chance. I hope we get a chance.
Jason Smith, let's talk about what you learned last week in your committee, the Ways and Means Committee, as it relates to pseudonym emails that Joe Biden used. I don't think he was supposed to do that as a part of the Records Act, but he did communicate quite often with Eric Sherwin, who is the individual at Rosemont Seneca, I believe, that was in charge of the finances. He is the person that Hunter himself would always ask, what account should we use to pay Dad's home repair bill in this case or that case? Is that the guy?
That's exactly right. He's known as being the architect of those 20-plus shell companies that Hunter Biden and the Bidens used to filter through millions of dollars. What those IRS whistleblowers provided to our committee last week, Sean, is it stood in agreement with what they've already provided of more than 1,000 pages. What those IRS whistleblowers said in regards to the prosecution that Hunter Biden should face in the tax crimes of 2016 to 2019, what happened in California confirmed everything what the IRS whistleblowers alleged. Yep. One thing that we should be looking at, Sean, is that those IRS whistleblowers also stated how many leads led to President Joe Biden, but they were stopped by the Justice Department, and that's what we need to be looking into.
Let me ask you, Congressman Comer, what do we know? How much money can you confirm that the Biden family took in from China, Romania, Russia, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, and other countries? How much money are we talking about? And can you confirm that the 1023 form that we had talked so often about that accused Joe Biden of taking official action as vice president in exchange for a family benefit. That would be Hunter's benefit. Was that the Burisma case?
Yeah, I can say this. First of all, we found over $24 million that flowed into those shell companies that Jason Smith was referencing earlier. We have no idea what the Bidens did to receive the money. We know those shell companies served no purpose. We've seen bank emails and we've seen suspicious activity reports from banks that said they were investment companies with no investment and companies with no known purposes. Now, we know that the 1023 form alleged that they took a bribe. This was in conjunction with the Burisma. And one thing that triggered the discovery of the 1023 form, Sean, was the fact that the whistleblowers that turned over the 1023 form to Chuck Grassley, they knew about this 1023 form, but because the narrative had been, oh, the Burisma thing was Rudy Giuliani and it was fake news and Russian disinformation, they never paid any attention to it. But when the House Oversight Committee started unveiling evidence in Romania and China where the Bidens were receiving suspicious funds that were being laundered through these various bank accounts and various shell companies, those whistleblowers said, that's exactly what it said in the 1023 form about Ukraine. That's why they came forward.
And
the
let me ask
whistleblowers
you
came
this.
forward because of our evidence.
And you can confirm that you have discovered over 20 shell companies, but you see no real business activity except the movement of money from one account to another. You confirm that, sir?
Yes, and that's what we wanted Hunter Biden to have an opportunity. He can explain. If I'm misunderstanding this, he can tell us exactly what these different companies did.
And you can confirm that 10 family members, Biden family members, were paid, including grandchildren, and you can find no evidence of any services rendered at all? Is that true, sir?
That is true.
Let me ask you, Jim Jordan. We know that Joe Biden has said that they never got any money from China. In the GMA interview, Hunter said pretty much the same thing. When we talk about the WhatsApp message call, and he says, I'm sitting here with my father. We don't know why you didn't fulfill your commitment. Between everybody that he knows and my ability to hold a grudge, you will regret not fulfilling that commitment. My father and I are sitting here waiting for you to call. Is it true, Jim Jordan, that, in fact, $5 million was sent to one of those companies, if you will, within a number of days thereafter? And was that another example of more money coming from an oil conglomerate, this one in China?
Yeah, CEFC, the energy company in China, sends $5 million after that phone call. And if I remember the WhatsApp message, it was between me and the guy sitting beside me. That would have been another question we'd ask him. Who was the guy sitting beside you? Who are you referring to in that? It seems pretty obvious, but we would have asked him that question. And Sean, back to your other question. We know what the business was. It was access to the brand. Devin Archer told us in July the brand is Joe Biden. So it was access to Joe Biden because he has influence. Everyone with common sense can see what was going on here, and the dinners and the phone calls and the meetings with his Hunter Biden's business partners, and more importantly, the people he's doing business with, like Elena Baturina, the wealthiest woman in all of Russia. Anyone can see what's going on here. That's why we had every single Republican vote today to move further and farther with our investigation to get these people in a timely fashion and get the facts for the country.
Yes or no? Exit question for all of you. Congressman Smith, I'll start with you. Is this now an investigation about Joe Biden being involved in what would be a bribery scandal, a money laundering scandal, and an influence peddling scandal?
This has always, Sean, been an investigation in regards to Joe Biden. The IRS whistleblowers, when they came forward, they highlighted how the Justice Department... Is it about
those three issues, though? That's what I'm asking. Bribery... Influence peddling,
it could be a multitude of numerous items, and we're just continuing to follow the facts.
James Comer, is that what this is about? Those three issues?
Yes, sir.
Jim Jordan, final answer.
Sean, remember, it's the standard in the Constitution, bribery, high crimes, and misdemeanors. And typically with impeachment, articles of impeachment, it's been bribery, it's been abuse of power, it's been obstruction of justice. So those are the things that we're looking at. We want to get the facts, and then we'll make a determination.
All right, this is going to get very interesting in the days, weeks, and months ahead.